ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
I know, John.
With the Cholo, red hot Cholo peppers behind us.
Man, well, we're Eat Talk Repeat. We're on location again. Unlike when we did this at Monzu, it's a little bit louder. We are here at Tacos and Tamale Festival, and John is about to leave us. But the more important thing is who we have with us. Do you want to?
One of my favorite people in the entire, in all of Las Vegas Pussy, Leticia Mitchell, owner of Letty's Tacos, Carmelitas, Leticia's at the Santa Fe. I have known Letty, I don't know,
since 09.
Yeah.
09. Oh my gosh.
That's when we met, when you were at Leticia's up in the Northwest.
Yes.
And I said it then, I'll say it now, she makes the best tacos in town.
Yes.
And she knows a lot about the Las Vegas restaurant industry. She's weathered COVID, has tons of fans, and we're here to talk tacos.
Tacos is my language.
And tacos are her love language. And maybe educate Sam a little bit.
Yeah.
A white guy like Sam needs
he doesn't know anything about tacos.
He needs some taco education.
You ate some good taco today.
Oh,
right?
I did.
Gosh. I know.
The best.
Before this, Letty gave us a demonstration of her queso birria tacos.
Yeah,
That's
you
why
see,
John.
I'm wearing them like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, that means it was good.
You can
badge
eat it
of
and
honor.
wear it.
Yeah, we made the tortillas.
Yes.
We did we put them on the hot stove top. We added the meat, the cheese, all of the good stuff with the consomme.
We dipped the tacos.
Yes.
Put them back on the hot surface.
And it's
See,
pretty-
you already know how.
And the fresh tortillas,
Yes.
make it. Don't
Right?
you agree? I mean,
Oh, yes.
all the tortillas in the restaurants are freshly made, and you can taste the difference. There's such a richness to them, and I don't know, when you're tasting a taco made with a fresh tortilla, it's a whole different ballgame.
I agree
Right.
100%. I mean, they're all good, but when you get that real corn masa tortilla in your taco, you're just wow. It just kicks it up a few notches.
Well, tell us how you learned to be the taco.
Yeah.
I know this didn't spring up. I know you're only 23 years old.
Of course.
Okay.
Come on,
Well, as
29.
I am.
29.
Okay. But tell us about yourself and how you came to Vegas and how you got in the food industry and how you learned so much about Mexican food.
Well, we came to Vegas in 1964. And my father immigrated us here. He was a professional pianist, and he was with the big, huge band that traveled all over the world, Los Violines Mágicos de la Vía Fontana de Arturo Romero, Caesar's Palace. I'm sorry, not Caesar's. It was the Dunes, which is now Bellagio, right? Contracted them and built Sultan's Table.
Oh, yes.
For the violins.
Right, and then they have
It rotated around the violins.
And a harpist and everything.
Everything. It was beautiful. It was the era where, women dressed up and the furs and,
the way it should be.
That was the fun part, right? So we came here with my siblings and my mother. It was 5 of us, and a year and a half in, it was the happiest time. My father passed away in a tragic car accident. So that put us all to work, right? So my mother was working the younger ones, myself, back to Mexico.
Where in Mexico?
I had to go to a boarding school, nuns.
But originally, where?
I was born in Mexico City.
Okay.
Mexico City. My mom was Torreon, Coahuila, so a lot of influence of the northern and the central. But it was, I can tell you it was very difficult because it was without my mom. The 2 youngest had to go, but it kept my culture, it kept the language, and my mother kept it. But I watched her when I finally came back to the States. I was about 11 or 12 and stayed. I would help my mother in the kitchen because everything was homemade, everything. So my mother would make tamales. She would make chiles escabeche, which is the pickled jalapenos with the carrots and stuff.
Yeah.
She would can those and sell them and make tamales and sell them, and I would help her. So it was my joy and passion. Out of 4 girls, I was the only one that wanted to.
So your mother was a foodie before that term even existed.
Yes. And when she would have guests come over, the friends, and she would cook up, un chivo, have the lamb or, birria or the big meals, right? I would watch people just enjoy, and it brought this, harmony, and always Carmela, ay, qué rico, it's so good. And I remember after the tequila, they would ask her to sing. But I didn't get that part. I did not get the voice. I didn't. Oh, she sang beautifully. And
your father was a musician too.
Yes.
Oh my God.
But so then fast forward, I get married, and I want to tell you a little story.
Yes.
What kind of ignited even more so my passion is that, I don't know when you're in third grade how old you are. What, 8, 9 years old? The teacher said we're going to have a field trip and everybody has to bring something. Who would like to bring what? Well, I raised my hand. Everybody else was too. So when I got home, I said, Mommy, they want us to make tacos, for this event, for the school. And how many? And I said, 35. She goes, okay. And we went to the grocery store and she goes, go ahead. She made me make them.
Oh my
She
God.
made me make them.
Oh my gosh.
So I made them, took them, what have you. I get married, and one day I bump into that third grade teacher, Mrs. Dooley. She had the beehive still and everything. And then I said, Mrs. Dooley, do you remember me? She goes, are you kidding me? You're the little Mexican. Back then there was few of us. Right? She goes, you made the best tacos I've ever had in my life. It stays with you.
I love it.
Yeah.
So
that was your entry. That was your beginning.
yes.
And you
So
had
my mother and I would talk about one day we're going to open our restaurant. One day we're going to open our restaurant. And we're going to bring in the community what real traditional Mexican food is. And we didn't have very many grocery stores that even provided the produce and products, to be able to make that. So unfortunately,
it was a different world
very.
in the 1970s and even in the 80s
Yes,
compared
yes.
to what it's like now. Finding things like salsa, cilantro, and
yes.
different chili peppers
Right.
would be impossible back then.
My mother would take me to El Relámpago Cubano. It was a little Cuban grocery mart. It was on Sahara. You know where the golden steer is?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was in that shopping plaza
Oh,
there.
darn. Yeah.
Wow.
It burned down one year, but that's where we would buy a lot of traditional cultural food, But she passed leukemia, just at 52, and didn't make it, and so I got to open up the restaurant.
And that was the first restaurant was what?
Leticia's Cocina and Cantina in the Northwest, way out there, and barely a community starting to develop.
That was right up in that Centennial Hills area.
Yes, sir.
Right before. It's kind of taken off now, but back then in the
What
late-
year did you open there?
2009, believe it or not, in the worst economy, but it was the opportunity.
Sure.
So the person that had it there, they went bankrupt. So it was a great opportunity, and we made it happen.
And that's how you met this guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I took one bite and I went, where have you been all my life? I mean, you know this because, Las Vegas, Mexican food in Las Vegas had a very bad reputation for a long time. And part of it, I think, is because the ingredients were easy to find. And we just seem to take a back seat to to Southern California, to Arizona, to New Mexico, to San Diego, Tijuana. I mean, and it didn't seem to percolate up here very well. But finally it did. I mean, what do you think? I think you were partly responsible for that change. But how has it gotten better as you've seen it?
Well, I think, and without sounding too arrogant, if you will, that my focus was to bring real cultural tradition, right? So, and other restaurateurs were saying, we got to feed the Americans. They don't know. They like this, they like that. No, they do know what good Mexican food is. So I stuck to that. To me, yellow cheese in Mexico, we didn't do that.
Right.
We didn't have that. So when I see that, I went, they're customizing.
Oh, that's how you know. You go into a Mexican food restaurant, you see yellow cheese, you're like, I'm out. Okay, that's a pro tip.
there's a lot of things that made my skin crawl back then when it came. But you're right, it was all very, very gringo oriented, if I might
With
say
the respect of the word, yes.
Yeah.
You know, but I remember when I opened, you know, we grew and grew. We did festivals, we did everything. And one time, they're like, chef, this man's really mad. He's really mad. He wants to see you. And I went, okay. So I go out and I said, yes, sir. And I'm scanning what he's eating. And he was loud. He said, how could you call this traditional Mexican food? And I said, sir, you know, this is from my region of Mexico. He goes, this is nothing like Macayo Vegas. And I went, oh. And I said, and I raised my voice and I said, you are absolutely correct. I don't take my chili rellenos out of a can and pour the sauce over them. No. But I respect the fact that that's what he grew up with. That's what he understood it to be. You know, a lot of people love the chips and salsa from Macayo. Remember?
Yeah.
You know, it was
the only game. That and Ricardo's were the only game in town for like
Bob
25 years. Yeah. And then, it's just, but Mexico is so rich with tradition. And I think we're now seeing food from various regions finally getting the respect they deserve.
I love that. I love that part.
Which wasn't around even 20 years ago.
There's so many different regions and different ways of making good Mexican food. You know, from the coastal to the center northern, and they're all different. And even within, you have variances because my mother would make it this way, your mother would make it that way. You know, in that regard. But Mexico is I believe, you can tell me I'm wrong or correct me later in that when you find out, but Mexico is number 3 in the country, in the world of cuisine and the culinary.
I think a lot of people consider it. I mean, there's China, there's Italy and Mexico.
Yeah.
You know, France.
Peru's growing.
But,
Peru and Italy.
But it's so varied that people just don't understand. From the mountains to the seafood. But one thing I've always wanted to ask you, and it's a little bit off topic, but you talked about your mother making all this food for these parties. One thing I think Mexicans can do better than any white people ever, they can party till like 3 and 4 and 5 in the morning.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I thought Greeks could eat a lot, okay? And I've been to Greek weddings that lasted for 8 hours. But
That's it? No.
Yeah, exactly. I'm telling you, I've never, until you go to a house party at a Mexican, a family that loves to cook, and at 4 in the morning, they're bringing out new dishes.
Right.
I mean,
See, when you
it's
start
something.
a wedding, you have, your appetizers, what have you, and then the entrees, and then the party, and then you're going at it. And then when the party's done, where's the tacos?
Exactly.
Yeah. So you have to come out.
Fit? Is that how is that where kind of it originated?
Absolutely.
As an after meal?
Yes. Yes, it's an after meal.
An après-pouche.
To help, absorb the alcohol, the tequila, or menudo, or pozole. Those are like the AM, for a hearty night of tequila.
Well, too much Mexican food for too long just came out of a can, like you said, and I think that's why it got such a bad reputation. But it's getting better, and Letty's downtown, the taco place downtown. So we just made tacos, but with the expert here, I mean, we're all dying to ask you this one question. What's the difference between a good taco and a bad, besides the yellow cheese?
Yes.
Right.
And just how do you tell to your average audience, non-Mexican audience, how to distinguish the good from the bad?
If you bite into that taco and you don't want to put it down, it is juicy, it is flavorful, it has layers, it could be the sauce of the spiciness, the meat is tender, and it is seasoned. And to me, there's a lot of taco shops that they're chopping it up like mincemeat, but to really make it good, you got to put a lot of salsa on it, sauce on it. But when you bite into that taco and you can taste the different, you said it earlier, that it's so layered of different, flavors. I think that's what makes it. And the pure corn tortilla, or even if it's a store-bought tortilla, but the way you're heating it up, the way you're preparing it. And remember, carne asada, there's different variations of what type of meats they're using. What cuts of the steak, that they're from flank steaks to, skirt steaks to top sirloin. And I always use top sirloin. in that. In the carnitas, you want them to have a little bit of the grease, you know, because it's what's cooked into.
Or a lot of it.
Yeah.
Or a carnita.
I'm a walking carnita.
You know, and to me, I would say, you know, presentation, you eat with your eyes, you're absolutely right. But there's so much focus on that. And when you go and take a bite and you taste it, it's bland.
Yeah.
You know, it's good.
Yeah, we've been talking about that. We're all doing we're doing a burger crawl in Las Vegas. And so one of the things I've noticed is so many of these burgers will come out and they're beautiful to look at. They would make a great Instagram photo, but then when you bite into it, nothing.
You just bite
soulless.
Like
It's just
you can put it down.
Yeah, and
You
you're
bite
like,
into it, and you
okay.
go, okay, fine, that's it. The good ones that Sam and I.
You can't put it down. You just have to keep eating,
Yeah.
even if you're absolutely.
And you got the
Yeah.
juice.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're using your other hand to drink.
Yes.
You're like, I can't. So
Your arteries are seizing, but you're like, I'm gonna finish this burger if it kills me.
Same
But yeah,
as the taco.
like the tacos we were making, those were incredible. And what I was saying is, you know, you've got the onion, the cilantro, the jus, or the consomme, the tortilla. Every bite you took, something else was kind of singing, and you're like, oh, I could taste it. And so I loved it. And I didn't want to step aside to do the podcast. I wanted to just keep eating.
I love that. And
Yeah.
to see you really want to dig in, you
Yes.
know, and who cares if I got some on me,
Oh.
you know, it's all over. I'm sorry, I speak with my hands.
Yeah.
So,
You know, well, we know about that in my life. Well, the street taco thing has taken off, though, and that has to have helped. I mean, do you think that's been because of social media? Because street tacos, like the ones we made earlier, I mean,
And
there were
food trucks.
Yeah, did it start with food trucks? I mean, they've been big in LA forever, but they finally got up here. And what caused that?
I think you're absolutely correct with the Instagram, the way marketing is now. You know, they're really hyping on that. So even Del Taco now has birria.
Yeah,
That's true.
But I think that
I saw it on
It
the
was
sign.
a shocker. I saw it and I went, wow.
I've seen birria ramen.
Yeah.
like everyone.
You haven't had mine.
Yeah, she does the ramen.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's Instagrammable. It's fun to video. So people love posting a video of dipping their taco in the consomme. And so I think that's really what's taken birria tacos to another level and made them so common to everyone.
I have to say that I think I lack in that area. And
Instagram?
shame, yes.
Oh,
and shame
don't
on
worry.
us. You know, there's so many taco places that are really booming and really growing. Like the Taco Wars.
Yeah.
They had the contest. And it was all about how much social media you had.
Oh, yeah.
You know, in that regard. That's okay. That's smart business,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think that's where we lack a little bit.
Well, I don't think you're right. You can play that game, but that game doesn't ensure quality. That just
It just means it looks good, and
Yeah.
and you're getting the right influencers. I mean,
Yeah,
it's sometimes these tacos that are great, like yours, they're sloppy and they're messy and they're but the quality is there in the taste, and it doesn't translate always in an Instagram post. You know,
Yeah,
So true.
and Instagram will get someone to a place once, and but it's not going to guarantee. They've got to deliver on the restaurant and make sure that it's actually a quality product. And that's what I think you're killing it. I mean, people come in, they taste that taco, and then they're like, "Yep, I will definitely be back, and I can't wait." It's the test we always talk about.
Yeah. Well, Letty's downtown.
Yeah.
Any day at lunch. Go there for lunch, and I would say at least half your customers are regulars. I mean,
Yes.
you can just tell. There are people that go in there. There's like four guys from one of the office buildings downtown, and they're there all the time.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been in that building? And that's a historical spot.
It really is. It's so amazing to be a part of that history. But 2020, we opened up.
that was a good year for restaurants.
It's a good year for
We opened
businesses.
in 2009, the worst financial.
Yeah, you
and
survived
then,
that.
In 2020, go figure. I need a pandemic or a financial crisis to open up.
Maybe there's a plague coming up.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Yeah, if you start jonesing to open a new restaurant, let us all know so we can batten down the hatches on our
right,
homes.
Buy some shorts.
Well,
There you go.
it was El Sombrero.
Yes, El
Then
Sombrero.
and it was bought. And then the couple that owned it forever, they were great. They retired.
They were.
And then it stayed El Sombrero with a new owner for a while.
El Sombrero Bistro, she named it.
Yeah, she named it Bistro, and I think she got out about 2018 or
The
so.
building is one of the oldest freestanding restaurant
It is.
in the city,
Yeah.
right?
It's actually the first. It's in history of Vegas or Las Vegas. Yeah, not the whole Nevada. I think it's only Vegas. The first Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, wow.
1947.
Yeah.
It opened.
1947, yeah.
Wow.
Exactly.
The original sign?
Yes,
Yeah,
on the
it
side,
is.
it is.
That's why
It is,
we didn't
yeah.
remove it.
It's so
Oh, you
beautiful.
can't. It's,
I
yeah,
just
it's
painted
historic.
Letty's on the top of the door.
I think they did a great thing because it was an institution. It was more New Mexican food back
It
in
was.
the day. I mean,
It was.
The couple that owned it, whose last name I'm forgetting right now.
Flores? Was it Flores?
Maria was the lady, and
Yes,
I can't
and
remember. Enrique?
Frank.
Frank. Yeah,
I
and
can't remember
they,
his name.
but they did a lot of things like the chili verdes and the adobada stews from New Mexico. So it wasn't
did.
Mexican per se, but it was very popular. And I think he was still deep in his 70s and still in the kitchen every day. But then they sold to that lady who had it for a while, and then she went out of business and sold to you. And I mean, that had to be challenging. I mean,
Well, it was. I mean, she went out. She said that because Main Street started the construction.
that's right.
Yes.
Yes.
And she
So-
goes, you know what, I'm done. 2 years of that, it kind of
Yeah.
took her down. And she called me, and my niece and I partnered in 2019. And I said, she asked me if I needed some help, and I said, yes. So she came in all the way, and she's Korean, but she's my niece by marriage. She married my nephew, but she has been a great, fantastic help and joy. She's inspired me even more so. But we had already been looking downtown, like 6-8 months. And when Irma, what's her name, she texts me, she goes, Letty, you want to look at my place? I'm done. And I said, no, because I knew it was small. And
36 seats or something, right? Yeah.
well, we made it to 49.
Yeah.
Don't tell the city. They're the ones that approved it. But they had booths and everything. Remember the originals? I don't know how they fit booths in there because it was tight.
It was cramped.
You would see mayors, attorneys, and everything in the original one.
There were 3 booths on each side and just a few tables in the middle. That's
You
all.
could feel the door open if you
Yeah,
sat by there, But it was quaint. It was beautiful. It had some great history, and Irma made into a beautiful boutique, kind of bistro. And my niece and I, we stood out there waiting for the realtor, but we just both looked at it, didn't even look inside, and we said, "This is." We just felt it,
Had a good
this
energy.
Is it. And the rest is history.
And when word got to people like me that you were moving downtown, it was like the angels were singing.
Okay, now,
It was like, oh my God.
Oh, thank you.
what's the primary difference between the two restaurants, if any?
Well, Leticia's Cocina and Cantina is a large sit-down, full-service, full-bar restaurant.
That's in the Santa Fe.
It's inside Santa Fe Hotel and Casino. And so Letty's was supposed to be more of a fast casual. And we started out, especially with COVID, you had to order at the counter. The 6 feet
I remember that, yeah.
and all that. But because of COVID, people were not comfortable. It's such a small place. We're not comfortable to, go out and serve and what have you. And it was very difficult to get team members, employees to come work because of the same. So Sue and I did the change to go to full service to help our staff at least get more income, tips and stuff. So it worked out perfectly.
So Letty's is now full service.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And they have outdoor seating.
The outdoor area is beautiful.
I know.
I think.
And you like
I like it a lot.
Thank you.
I
It's
do.
very humble.
No,
but
but I like it out there, and and for some of the year, it's absolutely perfect.
yes,
Yeah.
and not the summer, June or August, right? No.
Okay,
It doesn't matter if you put sprinklers or what have you. You're not sitting out there in the heat.
okay, food nerd alerts. Okay, I gotta ask a question about Letty. You have something on the menu that I love, but it always just, blows my
Oh, I
socks
know what
off.
it is.
It's
Uh-oh.
the Cubano sandwich.
Oh, yes.
That thing
it's
is
the
crazy.
Pork on pork on pork. For the uninitiated, it's basically sliced pork with braised pork with a hot dog right?
Yes, seared hot dog. Don't forget that.
Seared. Now, where did the inspiration for this come from?
Well, I tell you, going back to my mom, there was a little tiny hole in the wall downtown. And after all the concerts, when Vicente Fernandez or Juan Gabriel would come, and I started to get to go with her, they would all go to this little hole in the wall, and all they did was Cuban sandwiches. And they even had penny slot machines.
Oh, perfect.
What more do you need in life?
Yeah.
A late night Cuban slot machine and penny slots. I bet they had little cortadito coffees, probably. Oh my gosh.
So I remember watching everybody eating this big, Cuban sandwich, and the flavors were just amazing. Everybody has their own variations of, making a cubano, and maybe a cubano will say, that's way too much.
It's not the original Cuban sandwich.
Yeah.
It's your take on it, but
it is funny. You're going through the menu and you're like tacos, tortas, platos, and then it's like Cuban sandwich, and you're just like, what?
and your eyes get big, and to me, it's a knife and fork sandwich. I mean, I've never tried.
Oh, come on! You gotta go in there.
Wear your apron.
Exactly.
I'm gonna put on my apron next time you go and put it on you.
Yeah. Well, it's wonderful. As is
Have you tried the nopalito fries? I can't keep enough of them.
the fried cactus? No,
That's
my. Did that?
That's mine.
What?
meal. And I cannot keep enough of them. They get
Really?
mad at me when we run out.
So you batter strips of cactus.
Yeah,
You
what
take the cactus, you clean it up, right? And then you season it and you grill it. And then you go and you do the beer batter.
Oh,
And they poof up. And then I do queso fresco and tajin. And then with the chipotle aioli.
I'm going there right now.
So it's kind of like almost like zucchini fries.
Yes.
There you go.
Made-
Yeah.
Like fried
That
pickles.
sounds better.
Yeah, like
Nopales.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nopalito fries, I call them.
Napolito fries. I have not had it. I thought I had everything on the menu,
Nope,
but I have
not
not
yet.
had that.
Wow. That even sounds like you could make it like its own veggie style taco instead of like battered fish.
Well, there you go. We have some vegetarians, and we all offer that. That's an awesome idea. Muchas gracias, señorita.
De nada, de nada.
The only thing this is missing is we should have
Margaritas.
Oh, there you
Mexican
go.
beers
I know.
or tequila or
Something like that. Next time I'm gonna bring that bottle.
at your restaurant.
Oh, I would love that.
And then tell us about the latest place that you've opened further east on Charleston.
Yeah, it's in the Huntridge area, kind of towards the end. We're at the beginnings of the historical Huntridge refurbishing. But it was kind of like a no-brainer when we were asked to go in there. And outside it's like okay, and then you go in, you're like, wow. It's this gorgeous, beautiful restaurant. It's very big. It's 5,000 square feet.
Yeah.
And but my niece goes, it's time you name it Carmelita's, my mom. And we're like, yes. And we tried everything to do the, by Chef Leticia, and so everybody would know it's not totally new, but it's seafood, influence. And the big molcajetes with all the seafood in it, and like you said, the huachinango, it's marinated literally 24 hours.
No way.
And then you fry it. And you had to get a fryer deep enough and big enough because it's a red snapper.
Yeah.
It's a big red snapper.
And they're like 3 pounds or something like that.
And it's great. You go with 4 people and you just kind of pluck
Pick at
away,
it. You have
put
your
it in tortillas.
salsa,
Oh,
tortillas,
I know. See, look at me.
So it's
Carmelitas is a place that, if you haven't been, Mexican seafood is really hard to find.
very. And again, the flavors are in it. It's not just it's seafood. It's a ceviche. It's different seafoods. We have the shrimp. We have the lobster. We have the octopus. A whole octopus molcajete. Beautiful.
I know. Okay, my last question for you.
Yes.
If you're not eating at one of your restaurants in town, where are you going? Like, what restaurant are you eating at?
Of Mexican?
Anything.
Where does Leticia Mitchell like to go?
Like,
My niece and I and our husbands, we love to go out and try different good food. And my second favorite is Italian.
okay.
Italian. And one of the best ones closed because it was in the Bellagio. Remember, because they wanted a different concept, the best bolognese I've ever had.
Oh, Churco.
Yeah.
Churco in the Bellagio. Yes,
Yeah.
it was for 20 years. It was the best Italian
Wasn't
restaurant
it?
in town. Yeah.
See?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oh, it was
the
beautiful.
Macchione family. It was my favorite too.
Oh,
yeah.
wow,
Oh,
look
yeah.
at this.
I was there before there was Cipriani.
Yes.
There was Churco.
Yes.
In my life.
And I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
why are you closing? We went
Right,
on their
yeah.
last day.
Yeah.
Oh, they want just a new concept. No, Chihuahuas.
and they turned it into a lousy Italian.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I didn't
yeah,
go back.
yeah,
I didn't go back.
You were right not to go back.
Greek, we love Elia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Elia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, that's
Okay, wait. What Italian are you going to? If
good question. Yeah.
we left you get out of that one.
I keep trying. Unless you can refer me, but I make it at home. When my husband and I got married, he's Italian.
Oh.
And his mom's Sicilian and his father was Italian. And so
I like to
did.
see the fights you two have.
Oh my God.
Put up the color.
Mexican and the Italian.
Fuego.
So at our wedding at Tivoli on the top bridge,
Yeah.
I catered it. I did half Italian and half Mexican.
Oh, that's cute.
And you should see the Italians going to the Mexican and the Mexicans going to the Italians, and they would go back like this. And, you know,
Yeah.
but I love it. I love it.
Well, Leticia Mitchell, this has been fantastic.
Muchas gracias. It's been my honor. What a pleasure. Thank you very, very much.
All we're missing is the tequila, but next time.
Next
Okay.
time. Next time.
All right.
Margaritas,
Yes.
tequilas.
Well, thank you
Okay.
again.
Many blessings to your businesses and many
Likewise.
continued growth and success.
Buen provecho.
You're good people.
We got to do an
Bueno.
Italian night at Letty's. I think there's got to be an Italian night at Letty's one. Like an off
There you
night
go.
with friends and family.
Well, you know what I'm adding to the menu? Because my grandchildren, they love it. Especially the oldest one. Pasta alla diabla. And that's like an Italian. It's almost like a
Does it have shrimp or is it?
it's shrimp or chicken you can have, but that's a really good.
Okay, there we go.
there we
Food
go.
news you can use. Full.
Letty's, Carmelitas, Leticia's in the Santa Fe.
Muchas
Chef,
gracias.
thank you.
Gracias, amigo. Muchas gracias. I love you dearly. Thank you so very much. Thank you.